Hi everyone, it's Stella here from Why Not Stitches, and in this video I'm going to show you a step-by-step guidance on how to embroider the Blooming Uterus pattern. If you've purchased this pattern already, this video will be a great addition to the instructions included in the PDF files. If you are seeing this pattern for the first time and you'd like to give it a try, check out my Etsy shop, the link is below this video. I should warn you that this pattern is an advanced one and it can serve as a guidance to advanced and intermediate stitchers. All of this being said, let's see how I did it. To trace the pattern, I'm using a light drawing pad, the printed pattern, a calico fabric and a heat erasable pen. When I dress my hoop, I always make sure that the fabric is stretched tight as a drum. One important piece of information for this specific pattern is that I'm using two different kinds of needles. An embroidery needle size 7 for all the outlines. It is perfect for the outlines because it has a small eyelet and a sharp tip, which makes it easier to create smooth lines. It's a good choice when I'm using one or two strands. And a chenille needle size 24, which is good when working with 6-stranded floss. It's perfect to fill up all the shapes on this pattern. All the other necessary supplies are displayed on the screen. For the outlines of the uterus, I'm working backstitch all around with one black strand. There will be a few more outlines on the flowers, but I'll stitch them after all the shapes are filled up. Also, there are two lines that I made a little bit thicker after the whole embroidery was finished, because I felt the need for a little more contrast between outlines. Watch this video until the end to see how and where I did it. For almost all the flowers I've used satin stitch and 6 strands of floss. To make sure my satin stitches are smooth and following the same direction, I first stitched a few spaced guidelines and then I filled up all the spaces in between those guidelines. For the black insertions on the poppy flower, I'm using 3 strands and working a straight stitch. I find these insertions to be effective because they create a sense of volume in this situation. this little purple flower, I'm working the Colonial Knot with 6 strands. If you like the French knot better, you are free to use it in here. For this yellow plant, I'm stitching randomly some knots with 6 strands and some with 3 strands, just to create a difference in texture. I'm working the night sky inside the uterus with long and short stitch with split and 4 strands of floss. If you prefer working with another filling stitch, you are free to do so. Some filling stitches I can suggest are long and short stitch or satin stitch. The stars are made with cross stitch in 2 strands, and the little dots are made with short straight stitches. After I've finished filling all the shapes, I made some outlines on the flowers with backstitch in 2 strands. I recommend you to take a look at your embroidery at this stage and decide if you want it to be with outlines or without them. There are chances you might want to keep it without these outlines. After finishing the whole embroidery, I felt the need to thicken 2 outlines on the uterus, and I did it by going over those lines with 1 strand, using backstitch. You can make these lines in 2 strands from the very beginning. I hope hope you like the pattern, and if you feel like you could enjoy embroidering it and eventually gift it to a friend, check out the PDF download in my Etsy shop. The link is below this video. If you want to see more of my process, subscribe to my channel and check the other videos. And if you want to support my embroidery journey, share my videos with your friends that you know for sure will appreciate it. Thank you for being curious about embroidery. See you next time.